As everyone eagerly awaited, the celestial spectacle of the Northern Lights finally graced Maine on this Friday evening. When I was little, I heard a legend that the Aurora wasn't just a natural phenomenon. It was a bridge between the living and the souls of the departed. However, I could never have anticipated that in the next 2 days, I would nearly lose 3 dear friends. After work, Tyler, Ben, Clara, and I headed to our usual spot. In this group, the 3 of them had been close friends since college, while I was the last to join.
How about we go to Sebago Lake tonight to see the Northern Lights?
I'm in.
Great idea.
Sounds romantic. Maybe you guys stay here and drink while Claire and I have our own adventure. Weird. This isn't my ringtone. Hello, who's this?
You're my best friend. It's so cold here. Will you come down and keep me company?
Tyler was so scared he dropped the phone.
Are you okay?
What happened?
Nothing. Must be a prank call. I need some fresh air. Such a breathtaking sight.
Just then, Daisy, another close friend from college, appeared alongside Tyler, Ben, and Clara. She grabbed Tyler's hand excitedly.
Come on, let's get a closer look at the Auroras.
Tyler, slightly tipsy from the evening's festivities, allowed himself to be led away in a daze. As they neared the street, a strange itch crawled up his hand. Looking down, he recoiled in horror at the sight of a long maggot squirming across his skin. He jerked his hand away, and when he looked up at Daisy, his heart stopped. Where her left eye should have been, there was only a dark, empty socket. Maggots wriggled in and out of her eye, mouth, and ears, and with her remaining eye, she stared intently at him. Panicked, Tyler turned and ran. Suddenly, 2 bright lights flashed before him, and in an instant, he was airborne. Tyler was rushed to the hospital with severe injuries. According to the police, witnesses saw him dash into the street by himself.
He had so much to drink, I should have gone out with him.
Thinking about his badly injured friend, Ben couldn't stop sobbing.
This ringtone, it's the one Daisy used to have. Why is my phone changed to this ringtone? Who is this?
You're my best friend. It's so cold here. Will you come down and keep me company?
Hearing the voice on the phone left us all stunned. It was the same voice that had just called Tyler, and both Ben and Clara noticed it sounded incredibly like Daisy, their college friend. Seeing the terrified looks on Ben and Clara's faces, I snatched the phone and forcefully shut it off. After surviving those terrifying events, we 3 agreed to stay at Clara's apartment for the night. We all powered down our phones.
I don't get it. If that really was Daisy, why would she do this?
Ben burst into tears. As midnight approached, he suddenly sprang up and dashed towards the door.
No, I don't want to die. I want to go home.
Clara quickly grabbed him in a desperate hug to prevent him from leaving, and I rushed over to help. Suddenly, everyone froze, staring at Ben's phone, which inexplicably had turned itself on. A gust of wind blew in from the window, sending a chill over Ben. He turned around to find the room eerily empty. Clara and I were nowhere to be seen.
Clara? James, where are you guys? Don't scare me like this.
Ben, what's wrong?
Overjoyed, Ben spun around only to see Daisy standing on the balcony, beckoning him. Her smile and voice seemed to warm his heart in an instant. He ran towards her, but just as he was about to reach her, Daisy vanished. All that was left was the edge of the balcony beneath his feet, the endless night, and the whooshing wind around him as he stepped forward into the void. Clara and I could hardly believe our eyes. We had been knocked down by Ben's inexplicable burst of strength, then watched him charge towards the balcony. Although Ben ended up falling into the swimming pool below, he was severely injured. The next day, after our police interview, I couldn't help but ask Clara about their past with Daisy. It turned out there was a tragic story they'd all been reluctant to revisit. Back in college, post-exams, the 4 friends celebrated at a remote beach. Ben and Daisy, Then a couple suggested paddling to a nearby island. As they enjoyed themselves, a storm crept up, and suddenly a downpour coinciding with high tide threatened to completely submerge the island. In a panic, they returned to the beach, found the boat gone, and one life jacket missing. Daisy was nowhere in sight. Fearing she had left alone, the others swam back only to discover Daisy hadn't returned. She was later found unconscious on driftwood, barely alive, and never woke up. Remaining in a vegetative state at Northern Star Regional Hospital in Presque Isle, Daisy's father, blaming the trio for the tragedy, forbade them from visiting her. To prevent another tragedy, I decided to visit Daisy with Clara.
Last night's spectacular Aurora
She must be
display?
connected to the two mysterious
Well,
events
you're
from
in luck.
last night.
The Northern Lights are making
When
another
we reached the
appearance
hospital
tonight
that
over
night,
Maine.
we asked the nurse on duty
Meteorologists
about
predict
Daisy.
the best viewing times
She
will be
smiled
between 7
and said
p.m.
Daisy
midnight.
couldn't have called
Don't
anyone.
miss your chance to witness
Her
this
treatment hadn't
breathtaking
worked,
natural phenomenon.
and she hadn't moved. We went to Daisy's room and saw her lying still with a peaceful expression on her face. The eerie ringtone was like a snake slithering into our ears and coiling around our hearts. And then another Daisy appeared on the shadowy balcony, her face twisted into a sinister, mysterious smile. Clara, don't go! I felt an instinctive sense of danger from Daisy's grim expression, but Clara seemed spellbound, walking towards the Daisy on the balcony. The Daisy on the balcony became angry.
Don't stop me.
She said one sentence, and I felt the world spinning and fell to the ground.
Daisy, what's going on?
You have no idea. My soul was weak, but last night, when the Aurora appeared, I felt my soul strengthen. I could connect with you through the phone.
But why are you hurting them?
Why? Do you know how scared I was watching you swim away without me? I shouted for you, but no one looked back. You didn't even leave me a life jacket. Can you understand the loneliness of lying in this bed for a year?
Clara had reached the balcony, and another tragedy seemed unavoidable. Just then, the beautiful Aurora reappeared. I felt a surge of strength and ran to Daisy's bedside. No, Daisy, you're completely wrong. Just look at the Aurora. Its magic isn't meant for revenge. Think about Tyler and Ben, lying injured in the hospital. And Clara. They don't deserve this. You have the power to use the Aurora's magic to wake up and start over. You can still be friends, all four of you, in this world. The anger in the eyes of Daisy on the balcony faded to warmth and then disappeared. The Daisy in the bed opened her eyes. That night, we watched the Aurora from the hospital courtyard. And for the first time in a long while, Daisy smiled.
Still, I hold on, won't let you drift away. Don't be so fragile. Don't be so fragile. Don't be so